Welcome to the Capital Discussions SPY Put Diagonal Weekly Update. I'm Tom Nunemaker with Dan Harvey. So this is a much simpler trade than the road trip. We just have two strikes, and that's it. And you can see the current position we've got on. We're short the May 13th and long the June 16th. 9 days to go, and leaning a little bearish. We'll see what the market does on Monday, but if we do go down, like you were saying, Dan, it's positive vega, so it should help this position and any other positions that you're trading that are negative vega.
Well, right, exactly. And when we switch over, I'll show my current spreadsheet. But it does look like we have a fair amount of interest in this strategy, at least as reflected by the number of people who have signed up for the trial. I think we're going to go live, I guess, around the middle of the month, or maybe when you get back, maybe.
Yeah, we get back on the 23rd, so probably after that would be a good time.
Yeah, so at that point, I will begin some active teaching. I've had several questions that have come in, but I'm going to defer really any teaching in terms of setup and volatility considerations, how you select the strikes, how you monitor it, and how you exit it, how you look at the price chart of each of the individual options to make sure you're getting a decent fill. I'll discuss all of that gradually when we start teaching, if we are able to go ahead with the service, which we want to do. We hope we'll be able to do if we have enough paid subscribers, but it looks as if we will based on the interest so far. So on this particular trade, as Tom said, we were positive money for a little while, but today we burned out a little bit because volatility picked up a little bit on the front leg and dropped some on the back leg, or stayed the same, I should say, on the back leg, which I'll show on the spreadsheet. That sort of hurt us a little bit, but I've been in this situation before, and what is likely to happen is, we'll either continue to rally up, in which case it's going to be very difficult to make this trade a winner, and not impossible, but we're running out of time to make an adjustment, which is another thing I'll teach later. We're running out of time to make an adjustment, so this one might just wind up being a loser, or possibly I might do something to flatten the deltas and let it ride then. Conversely, if we dropped off and the volatility picked up, I've seen these things turn from a $200 loser to a $200 or more winner, maybe not in the blink of an eye, but within the same day. So it's a little too early to get out yet. So I guess I can switch over now to my spreadsheet and show that for just a second, Tom.
Yep.
Okay, so just to continue on, this is the spreadsheet of the current positions. This was our trade last week, which made good money in 2 days. Obviously, we are down some money now, but if you look at the details of this, notice the implied volatility of the front leg, and if you compare that with the implied volatility of the back leg, they're almost the same. So this is an aberration. Generally, there's about 2 volatility percentage points different. So this one got jacked up a bit relative to the back leg. Again, possibly related to the spike in the VVIX here at the end of the day. Not sure exactly what did that, but we are currently showing a loss. But as I mentioned, if we have a little bit of a volatility pop, or even we don't even necessarily need that. If you play around with these numbers, if the price of the back leg maybe only dropped to say 1.3, which I will fill this in now just by typing it in, and this one dropped off to 0.2. You can see we have cut our loss quite a bit, and if you added to that a rise in the volatility, we could wind up either breaking even or possibly getting a small profit out of this. One of the problems was I was looking at the price chart of the individual strikes, and I see in hindsight I paid too much for the back leg. I should have paid around, maybe $1.95, $1.96, and this position, had I done so yesterday, would have been profitable. So this is one of the things I will talk about, how you evaluate that, how you study the price graph of an individual option, how you do it on Thinkorswim. And I'll also show how I set up a one cancels the other type of order on Thinkorswim, and Tom has said that he'll show it on Interactive Brokers, so that you can have some peace of mind that that if the market were to blow through the short leg, you'd be taken out and the short leg would be closed and you'd be long the back leg, so that would be good. And conversely, if you had a sudden profit, whatever profit target you set, then if that were filled, then the position would be filled and the order to take out the front leg would be canceled. So thus a one cancels the other type of order. And so we'll show you how to set up an OCO type of order on both platforms. I have no idea how to do it on any other platform, but most people have either Thinkorswim or IB.
Yeah, I had one on IB that was filled today, and it closed it out perfectly. And when you're setting up, it's called an OCA group, one cancels all. So I'll show how to do that a bit later.
Okay. Yeah. So that basically sums this up. We'll just, we're running out of time here on the front leg here. Obviously, this will eventually, let me get the real prices back here again. I guess they're not going to come in after hours. Yeah, they're not going to come in yet, so I'll have to wait until later, Monday, I guess, and get this in. But anyway, the premium will continue to bleed out of the front leg. It has no choice. The only way it's not going to bleed out is if the front leg were to go in the money. Spider's at 240, and this is the 236.5. So it would take a pretty big move to do that. So the critical operative here is the back leg. Are we going to recover some of this price, and is the implied volatility of Spider going to bump up and therefore give us a chance at a profit? And we'll see next week.
And option view is saying the delta on that short's about 18.9, so pretty good chance it's not going to be hit.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
All right, Dan, anything else before we wrap it up?
I think we're good.
And like we were talking about, I'm going to be going to a house hunting trip in Lisbon, but we'll get back on the 23rd, so we'll probably start this service after I get back, something like that, a little bit after the 23rd.
Yeah, so I'm sure you will tell everybody what they need, what they need to do to make sure that they're signed up, and what the service will include will be, basically what you have seen here on the weekly video reviews, and there will be a SPY Daily Planner, which I have only shown intermittently heretofore, but once I start the service, it'll be very frequent. You'll get the text alerts of any adjustments or closing or opening positions, and you'll also get an email on that, and then the weekly reviews. And I think it's important for this particular trade not to have the same type of expectations that you do on the road trip. We're not going to have, 15 winners in a row followed by one loser and then another 15 winners in a row. It's not that good. But what it does offer is a very simple two-legged trade on low margin requirement. And when you do hit one, they can be very quick, like this one in 2 days, nearly 8%. I've had one of over 20% that's occurred in 2 days. So when you add those all up and net everything out, for me, this has become a good trade. Now, it is not my main money maker. It's my dinner and a movie trade, but we have had some feedback from people who really like the fact that it doesn't use a lot of margin and that it's simple and that it's usually only one trade a week. So with that in mind, we will see how it goes.
It's almost set and forget. That's one thing I like about it. You set up your one cancels all orders, and you hardly have to watch it because you basically got your plan in place.
Right, exactly. And when you do lose, and there will be losers, the losses are quite small, and I may be able, if this one looks like it's going to continue to be a loser, I may be able to touch it up a little bit to decrease the loss with a minimal adjustment. I'll have to see how that's going to look depending on market action. But there are some things you can do, particularly if it goes bad on the first day, for example, or the second day. You can fix it up fairly easily then. Once you're several days in the trade, it's sort of your baby now, and you have to nurse it along. But when you do lose, you don't lose much as long as the market doesn't blow through the front leg on the downside, which is why we have the OCO type of order.
Right. And road trip subscribers will get 50% off. Any other expert subscriber will get 25%. And gold members will get a 10% discount. So whichever one of those discounts you're entitled to, you get the highest one. They're not additive. So, but with that, Dan, thanks again. Another great trade. Hopefully this one will be a profitable one. We'll see next week what happens.
Well, thanks a lot, and we hope you have a safe trip.
Thanks, and we'll see everyone next time.